With Warren, Congressman Auchinclaw, Sauce, where is she? There you go.
Let me follow on Dr. O'Connor. Neither of you has seen the president today. Neither of you is treating the president. The question is, when will Dr. O'Connor come out? Because to just put out a statement and shield him from questions would be the least transparency of any White House in 50 years on a presidential illness.
Wow, I wholeheartedly disagree on your last statement. So we are doing this very differently that I would argue than the last administration. And I'm happy to have that conversation with you.
His heart, liver, and kidney function was normal or improving. Improving, does that mean that there were effects, and is it all normal? Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, it's all normal right now. I would say he appeared to be a little dehydrated Friday. He was able to just drink and recover from that, and yeah, everything looks great.
This is a real burden on New Yorkers as we're trying to do the right thing. We already have an overburdened shelter system. So now we're talking about, as you stated, food, clothing, school. This is going to impact our schools because we do not turn away individuals because they're undocumented. Translation services. There's just a whole host of things that this is going to produce, and that's why we need help.
Having it both ways, Jared, because when the gas prices go up, it's got nothing to do with the president. When we see some decline, you want him to get the credit.
Look, I think that there's no both-way thinking here at all. I think that there has been a consistent, I think, pressure on strategic reserve, 180 million barrels. So it
was Putin's fault. When they're coming down, he gets the credit.
Yeah, I very much disagree with that framing. I think what's happening here, some real results, partially that partially derive from concrete efforts he's taken.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he's received from you?
What are you saying?
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay. Thank you.
Has said he's working 8 hours a day. Obviously, you said he's sleeping, and you didn't want to call him this morning. Can you just give us a little sense of what else he's doing when he's not working those 8 hours, when he's not sleeping? The First Lady's not here right now. How else is he spending his time?
What's he up to? I mean, eight plus hours is that is pretty busy for someone who is mild symptoms with a virus. Look, the president is always working.
Involved in these meetings today, or what exactly has he been doing yesterday and today?
So he's been in meetings. I was scheduled to meet with him today in the Oval Office. So he's been meeting with his senior staff. He's been meeting with a staff. I think some of you may have seen him when the First Lady of Ukraine was visiting with our First Lady. I believe you saw him very briefly. So he's just been very busy dealing with the issues of the American people and meeting with his staff and senior staff the last 2 days.
I noticed on the president's schedule the last 2 days there have been no public events. Is he resting after the large international trips?
The president's been busy. I'll let Karine speak to the president's schedule, but the president's been quite busy. Just because you don't see something necessarily on the public schedule doesn't mean that there's not a lot of work going on.
Please describe America to me in one single word. What would that be if you could describe America in one single word?
Well, for me, I guess home.
Home. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, just a few weeks ago, this is how President Biden described America in one word. Could you please tell me what that word means? It's this one right here. Mm-hmm. Could you even say the word?
Congressman, I'm not in the habit of trying to read transcriptions.
I bring this up to you, sir. I bring this up to you
on television
because you yourself questioned Donald Trump's mental state of mind in September of 2019 when you stated to CNN, I quote, "If our presidency is not in good shape, then our country is not in good shape." And Mr. Secretary, I could not agree with you more. I'm going to repeat what your quote is. If our presidency is not in good shape, then our country is not in good shape. Began questioning President Trump's mental state back in February of 2017, a month into his presidency. We now have President Biden in office for 18 months, and just recently, We now see the mainstream media questioning President Biden's mental state, and for good reason. Sadly, he shakes hands with ghosts and imaginary people. He falls off bicycles. Even at the White House Easter celebration, the Easter Bunny had to guide him back into his safe place. Cue cards that say, sit here, or end of speech, which he actually states, that is, if he stays awake.
The foreign minister says he was there and he didn't hear the president confront MBS in that way. So are they lying about that?
So I'll say this: the president was asked this question, and he spoke to it directly. And I do believe that if anyone telling you differently about what the president said, they weren't listening to the president himself.
Following up about this comment that the Saudis say did not happen, but the president says did happen. Did you personally hear the president raise the issue of?
I trust the president. He made those comments, as you heard directly from him during the press conference, and so.
You did not hear him say that.
I am just saying to you that the president himself. I was not in the meeting to answer that question, but the president himself said and laid out very clearly